Open your eyes! Open your eyes wider! Reluctantly, I did as the casting director urged. And then came the, okay. That was back in 2012. I was on a callback audition for a national commercial for a prestigious brand. And as I was saying my lines, the casting director hollered for me to open my eyes. I'd been portraying Santa Claus for nearly a decade at that point, bringing joy to families and appearing at events of all sorts and at parties and even on local television a few times. And I loved every minute of it. But behind the twinkle in my eye and the jolly ho-ho-ho, there was something that I carried quietly, something that had been with me since birth, a condition that affected how I saw the world, but more importantly, how the world saw me. I had a lazy right eye. You can probably see it now. See, my right eye crosses in slightly. Well, at that time, it was much worse, and they call it strabismus, the doctors. And as a toddler, I had surgery. I was born with this condition, and I had surgery when I was 3, I think it was, to correct it. But it was never fully aligned with my left eye, and over time, the muscles aged, and the right eye turned inward ever more. And for over 50 years, it was just a part of my reflection, right? It was who I was. And as Santa, I found a few little tricks that worked well, right? I could position myself in ways to get photos. It was always a little bit different, but I'd align my head or and get the camera angle and squint my eyes just right and make it so the crossed eye was less obvious and distracting when people were looking at their photos with their children and Santa Claus. As the years passed, I saw more and more people. My eye became progressively worse, and I could sense the discomfort that they were having trying to figure out how to look Santa in the eye. I even had a couple of youngsters ask why my eye was crooked. Kids really do say the darndest things, and that was fun. But in 2012, at that point, that was my 9th year as Santa, and it was my first year that I had an agent in Hollywood. And I was so excited about taking my Santa portrayal from my small town in Ashland, Oregon to Los Angeles. I couldn't believe I was actually being asked to audition for television commercials and for huge brands and to appear on TV shows. It was amazing. It was a dream. It was a dream I didn't even know I had, but here it was coming true. And I wanted to be my best, of course, and to serve all of the people I was seeing better. Right? I wanted to be able to book appearances on TV shows and commercials. And this is not out of vanity, but because I knew people felt uncomfortable not knowing how to look me in the eye. And I wanted to get extraordinary photos with less effort. And I was also hoping to increase the impact that I could have and my income, right? As Santa getting cast on television shows. So I knew corrective surgery was expensive, and I did not have health insurance at that time, and the cost of the surgery was way out of my budget. But still, I started searching and researching and looking for doctors. I had faith that if I asked, I would receive. I also had a wild idea that I could trade for the surgery by offering social media publicity, right? I had this crazy vision of a viral social media with the headline, Doctor Saves Christmas by Correcting Santa's Lazy Eye, or some crazy thing. And I was just hoping that some doctor would think that would be fun and he'd like to be a part of it. And then as it turned out, I was doing my research and I found this doctor in Beverly Hills, California, Dr. Ken Wright, a renowned eye surgeon. And I did have to swallow my pride some, and I shared my story and my idea in an email to Dr. Wright's office. A couple days later, I followed up with a phone call, and that call resulted in a consultation. Well, all right, going in the right direction here. Well, Dr. Wright came in, and we chatted for a few minutes, and he examined my eye and then leaned back in the chair and said, "I think I can help." He then added something that stopped me in my tracks. "I like you, and I like what you're doing, and I want to help," he said. And he offered to do the surgery as a gift at no charge. And on top of that, he didn't care anything at all about the video, that whole big idea I had. He simply wanted to help me. And I'll tell you, in that moment, it changed me. I was changed forever right then. Not just because I received a free surgery, although I will forever be so grateful for that, but I was changed because someone, in this case a complete stranger, saw the heart behind what I was trying to bring to the world, the joy, the wonder, the connection, and he believed in me. And after the surgery, I didn't just look different. I felt different. I was more confident, more aligned, right? My eyes were more aligned for sure, but my whole self was more aligned. And I was even more determined to keep showing up and bringing my very best to every personal appearance, every child, every family, and every audition. And I share this story with you today simply for one reason. Sometimes the very thing we think disqualifies us, the obstacle in our way, the thing that's making things more difficult or making us less desirable, less attractive, it's actually part of our story that qualifies us. It's what makes us who we are. It makes us better, more confident, more skilled, and more courageous. Sometimes the miracle we need doesn't come from having it all figured out. It comes when we humble ourselves, right? And we take the next step with faith, right? With heart and hope. So whatever it is that you're carrying, whatever you've been afraid to face, let my experience be your inspiration. Step outside of your comfort zone with faith and courage and ask boldly, intelligently, right? I mean, try to find a way to be of service to those who you're asking for help from, but be bold and ask. Remember the formula, ask and you shall, yes, receive, right? Thank you for being here. If this experience of mine touched you, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Please share your place, your experiences. And if you haven't already subscribed, and join me each week for this series. I'm going to share a whole bunch of fun, encouraging reminders from my life that hopefully will benefit your life, and we'll have fun together. Regardless of your age or your circumstance, life is still full of wonder. So here's to being jolly and kind and serving with purpose, and to each of us following our own true north pole. See you next week.